Brad Riddell, UFC number 12 ranked lightweight. Mate, it's been a little while between drinks for you, but you're back at it this weekend against Rafael Fiziev, a man you know very, very well. First of all, how have these last few months been for you, man? Having to deal with lockdown and prepare for this fight. What has that whole experience been like?
It's been different. It's been interesting. I'm sure you guys have seen me in the news a little bit with the other guys from CKB, but it was it started off right with the bubble, and then it obviously changed, and it made camp a little more challenging, but not too much. Like I still got the same work that I always would have got in, and that was pretty important considering who I was fighting. So yeah, man, no complaints. It was an enjoyable camp. Had some really good people help me out, and it was nice to train in the summer. Yeah, it's good.
With this fight, I talked to Eugene last week, and he mentioned that they sort of had to push you to accept this fight or get your head around taking this fight because you
Yeah.
have such a relationship with Rafael. Can you just talk to me a little bit about your initial reactions to seeing that name come across the table?
Uh, yeah. Well, Eugene messaged me or called me. I can't remember. Telling me that they sent me Rafa, and I just sort of said, "Oh, yep." And I think he said just have a bit of a think about it, and he just told me, what the deal was, that there wasn't anyone else to fight, and well, nobody ranked. And if I didn't want to fight and wanted to wait for somebody ranked, it was going to be until next year, which is a little bit too long for me. So I just called Rafa and just told him and said that, there wasn't anybody else for us to fight, like same for him, right? Because he's just behind me. And so he was like, yeah, cool. Like it didn't happen that fast. It took me a few days to think about it and stuff like that. I knew I was going to have to fight him eventually, but I thought it was going to be a little bit later when we were a bit higher ranked. But yeah, it is what it is, and so now we're fighting a little bit earlier than intended, but I'm sure it's still going to be the same exciting fight for everybody. Maybe we do it
Absolutely.
twice. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of people have sort of wanted this fight for a little while, and a lot of us didn't think it would happen because of the relationship.
All right.
But I'm sure a lot of people are going to be tuning in because outside of maybe Poirier Oliveira, this is the fight that I've heard talked about more than anything else. I mean,
Yeah.
for yourself, how does that feel? I believe you're going to be
Um,
co-main event this weekend as well, so you're in a pretty good spot.
we are co-main event. I didn't know that until just recently, maybe last week. So that was a cool surprise. How do I feel about the hype? It's like it's always adds a little more pressure. Everyone expecting this like insanely crazy spectacular fight, but sometimes it doesn't go that way. Um, it could be over quicker than anyone thinks, or it could go the distance, or it could be like a points game. You never know. So yeah, people can get a little bit worked up. They're not the ones in there, so I understand why they get excited about it. But yeah, end of the day, you just have to win. End of the day.
With this camp, how much work have you done on trying to maybe start a little bit faster? 'Cause in your last three fights, I believe you haven't won the first round, and you've had to come back on the
Yeah,
cards.
yeah. I what that's not so much like working on that. That's just like changing your mentality a little bit, just going in there, I don't know, a little bit sharper, a little more warmed up, something like that. But yeah, I'll definitely start faster in this one because it's pretty detrimental to lose a first round against Raf, a hard person to catch up against. So yeah, I'm definitely going to try to get out there and get that first round under my belt.
With this fight, it's finally again like the Drew Dober fight. They haven't fed you a wrestler. They've given you a guy
Uh,
who is sort of much more stylistically friendly to how you
yeah.
approach things. Do you feel like those matchups with wrestlers and all the work you did for, say, like the Gregor Gillespie fight, that's going to give you some sort of advantage in this one if you look to maybe take him to the ground at any point?
Yeah, like a lot of people haven't seen Rafa's wrestling really because he hasn't had to do too much in his career, but he's a very good wrestler. He's quite hard to take down. I might have a try, I might not. I'm not too sure. But yeah, like I mean, it always helps. Any kind of training for any of these guys always helps because they're all very very high level. But yeah, it's everyone seems to think it's going to be a a really like predominantly a stand-up fight, but it is MMA, and like I said, I will win any way that I can. So yeah, I guess I'll have to dip my toes into a little bit of everything and see what's working on the night.
In terms of training and everything, sort of looking a little bit more further afield, it looks like you guys can be able to stay put in New Zealand for now. Can you just talk a little bit to I guess the conversations that the gym has had, and I guess how exciting it is that you guys can train again back home?
Yeah, I don't know what the intention of the team is. My intention is not to leave. I'm going to stay at home. I can't speak for anybody else, what the other guys are doing or what Eugene wants to do. I would like to think that they'll stay in New Zealand, considering the the new improvements to the traveling situation, which by the looks of it, most likely we will be staying, because if we can come and go from February, I don't see why we wouldn't stay. Like unless something else changes, unless something else pops up, or this new variant causes another problem or something like that. But as far as I know, I think a few of the boys are fighting in February, so it seems to have timed itself pretty well. So yeah, it looks like we'll be getting summer at home. It'll be cool.
And I know you don't have to do what Dan Hook has done and stay over there until you find a way to get an MIQ spot.
Yeah.
How much relief was that getting accepted into that sort of early program, the trial that they're running, for especially for yourself with a young daughter and a wife back at home?
Yeah, massive. I was really relieved. I'm not going to say I'm grateful, because I don't think we should have to be grateful to return home. I think we should be allowed to go back for leaving to represent like this. And I really hope that they introduced this pilot. I think this is just a trial, if I'm not mistaken. So I hope they introduce it really, really quickly, so that anybody else that's stuck overseas can come home, like any athletes or any other citizen or Kiwi that's stuck out there, they can get home quickly. So yeah, I was super excited that I got it, because I didn't have it for quite a while. I only got it in the last few weeks, I think, because they stated some other people dropped out or weren't eligible, so I got it. So that was a nice email to get that day. And it's 10 days, so it's a little bit shorter, and it's at home, so that's cool. Yeah, man, it makes it much nicer getting to fly home on Sunday after the fight, regardless of the result. Yeah.
This will be your first UFC fight with a number next to your name. Is that any sort of motivation or anything different? Does it bring anything different for yourself as a fighter?
Not particularly. This fight, I don't know if that would even adjust my ranking. With a win, obviously a loss would bump me back a little bit, but I'm more focused on like who I'm beating, like the caliber of the fighter. Like Rafael's definitely worthy of like top 5. He's a very, very good fighter, and so beating him is a huge statement for me, for everybody else that's above me, and it'll make them a little bit jittery about fighting me as well. So yeah.
So man, just before I let you go, I know there's a few more days between now and the fight. What are you getting up to in Vegas this week? I'm sure you're doing plenty of wrestling with Frankie and getting in with the boys.
Yeah, huge. Got in last night. So tonight will be my first training with him. I've just been training with Frank and Dan, which is cool. And Jenna's over here as well. So I've just been hanging out with them, hanging out in the room. During the day it's pretty sunny, but the sun disappears pretty quick. So yeah, a bit of basketball, and yeah, man. Not much, just waiting to weigh in so I can have some decent food. That's always something to look forward to. And yeah, so a couple more days and then get to have a good feed, and then I'll just be thinking about the fight. Right now, I'm just thinking about some good food.
Fair enough. And walkout song this time. I know you usually use Thunderstruck, but you've used, I think it's Dave Dobbin last few times.
Shit, you just reminded me that I need to tell them. Like, they emailed me about that. I haven't picked one yet, man. I'll grab one before I go out. But yeah, I haven't put any thought into it yet. It's there's not really like, yeah. I mean, like the Dave Dobbin was. I just said to my mate that was with me at the time in Abu Dhabi, Bo, I just said, I'll pick a song you like, and I'll walk out to it. So he picked Dave Dobbin, so I walked out to that. And then obviously the last one had a bit more meaning. This one, it'll just be something to make the walkout like not look so damn boring and long. Yeah.
Sweet as, man. Well, I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for your time as always, and good skill for the weekend.
Cheers, mate. I'll see you soon.
Yeah.